Matty, thanks for joining us. Sponsored by Wooden Creations. Obviously, just give us a bit of an update on today's. We've got one outgoing, one incoming. Obviously, first the outgoing of Kaden Hass. Just give us your thoughts on obviously how that's come around and yeah.
Yeah, look, I think it's been obviously a difficult week. It's never nice, having to do that. And I think, all I can say is, Caden's been brilliant since being here. He's done everything I've asked of him, and he's played well. And look, it's like I said, I told him he's not done anything wrong or anything like that. It's just the way that I see us going. And I think, this is a decision purely based on just how I think, we going forward, how I want us to be and how I think we're going to win. Look, obviously there's stuff that went around sort of the whole, the change of how this came up, and without going into a load of detail on it, but essentially the Deck Barmer situation plays a part of it. I'd signed Kaden when we had Deck, that sort of played a part in sort of, bringing Kaden in and sort of where he was and the team, and then obviously we lose Deck, and I've got more options there, and simply that's it, and I think, look, it's the context behind it is at the end of the day, look, he's done well this weekend and he's done well since he's been here, but I think obviously the way I see it is, look, Caden's a really good player and the type of player that I wanted. Now we're a couple of weeks into the season. I just feel like, looking at the rest of the league and where we are in it, I think, I think we need a bit more from that role, and being able to do that in the situation we are, like I mentioned with Deck Barmer, this situation came up with Johnny, and it was something that I just felt like I had to do. These sort of players don't come up very, very often, and someone that is actually willing to come to this league as well, and that played obviously a big part of it. But yeah, look, Kaden, I can only thank him for his time here, and he's been great, and he works really hard for me, and it's nothing I wish I could have for. I wish I could, it's just the way it is, right? And that's just simply it. And yeah, it's a tough thing to do, and yeah, it's where we are.
And then moving on, obviously you just touched on it then, the arrival of Johnny Cornell, like you say, not many players of his calibre become available and say want to drop down. He's got a great resume in terms of a captain in the OHL, put some really good points in Norway as well the season before last, got some good points as well for Storm last season. Just give us your thoughts obviously on his arrival and what he's going to bring to the team.
Yeah, look, it's one of them that, people in the game, understand this. There's levels of player, and I feel like Kaden has got a lot of upside to his game, and I feel like he could have become a really good player. But I do think he's a certain type of role. What we're going to have with Johnny is someone that is, he's very skilled, but also can play the other side of the game that he's been doing in the Elite League. But the biggest part of it for me was, adding someone, to that top six, and with Huey, that can really offer him a lot. We know what Huey can do when he's, he played with, Sonny Carlson going back, and then, Biz. He's really dangerous when someone can find him and get him the puck, and that's, I felt like we needed that. And like I say, Johnny, I mean, his resume speaks for itself. I think, I don't think we've got an import in the league with that resume this year. I think it's exciting. We're lucky that we've been able to do this and bring him to Hull. And yeah, I think, look, for me, it was something where I just felt like it's going to add a lot to us. I mentioned this before, but there was no way I could, replace a Deck Barmer on D, British. I always wanted the three forwards this year. That's the way I wanted to go, and so this is the way I see it. Having really two good first lines essentially in the top six that can, match anybody's. So yeah, that's where we're at.
And finally, obviously, the situation with Manchester, we kind of mentioned in the press release that there's a bit of a connection there again. Just talk us through that and obviously what the deal with Johnny means and how that'll sort of work moving forwards as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's caused a bit of confusion. Simply, Johnny's our player. The situation is that essentially, Manchester really like Johnny. And for me, it makes a lot of sense having Johnny being able to skate with Manchester once a week. He's got a girlfriend in Manchester, so he's got ties there. He gets along with the lads there. So if he's up there once, twice a week, he gets to skate with, let's be honest, a lot better level than we're at, and really good players. So it keeps him sharp. He'll still be on with us, twice a week. With the lads, he's going to be living here, so he's going to be around the lads, and he's our player at the end of the day. It just means that Manchester have that call on him next year if they want to take Johnny back. And yeah, it's exciting for him, and I think for us, because we've got someone that's hungry, that wants to get back to the Elite League. And I've always said that I'm more than happy to have guys that want to go up the level, and you only get a better player when you have a hungry player like that. So yeah, look, we'll give Johnny that time this year. That I think it'll be good for him to play some offensive minutes and get back playing around the 20-minute mark and PP, and I think that's where we're going to see the best of him. I think in Norway and obviously in the OHL, he's playing a lot of offensive minutes, and we saw how dangerous he was. And yeah, I think everyone I've spoke to, he's got a lot of upside to that side of his game, and I think it'll be really fun to watch him for us. And again, just not having to rely on Sobs and Emmy and Bob so much. We know how good that line is, and yeah, it's one of them where at times we do rely on that a little bit too much, and I don't want that this year. So that's the biggest part of this reason. And again, Johnny, he's our player. He's coming here and he wants to do really well. But yeah, the relationship with Manchester is really good, because obviously we know the Sheffield scenario. We want something similar with Manchester, and they want that with us. And I think it's a good thing to have that pathway, because yeah, look, like I've mentioned a lot of times, we want to get these lads up to the Elite League. That's the goal for everybody, right? But I think we've got a really good level here that a lot of these young Brits especially can come and play and learn the game, and then take it to the next level. And yeah, Manchester have been great with that. They wanted him to come to us, and that means a lot to me, because that means that they trust us and they want us to look after Johnny this season. And I'll do my best, and the team will get around him. And I think I think we've got ourselves a hell of a player. So it's exciting.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers, mate.